Hello and welcome. Happy Friday, everyone. You're tuned in live to the Wildcat Sanctuary. I see Sky, I see Selene, two rescued bobcats calling the Wildcat Sanctuary their forever home. Sky and Selene might be one of their names. Another one of their earned names here at the Wildcat Sanctuary has been the Energizer Bobcats. Just was getting in with Zone Lead Jackie here in Wildcat Pines, and she was doing some cleaning. And of course, when we're going in the habitats, we have the cats shifted out. That's not only a great time to pick up poop, change out water, clean the water buckets themselves, pick up old enrichment, but it's a great time to put in new enrichment. So we're hanging out with Sky and Selene. I have Bruno behind me. We have some enrichment out for him as well. I'm going to keep my head on a swivel. He was just right behind me. Hey, Jessica Wynn, thanks for joining us today. Oh, and it looks like the party might have started across the way for Sky and Selene. I know that they're looking at one of the animal care interns. Hello. Hey, Chizzy. Hey, Bella Rourke. Who else is here? Jessica Wynn. Might have to take off my other glove so I can do some zooming. Ugh. Of course, it's not right until they've urinated on the enrichment. Typical bobcat. Sky and Selene had some tubes placed. Inside of that tube is really one of their favorite pieces of enrichment, and that's a little crepe paper roll. Those little kind of long, it's a condensed roll, but it'll roll out into a long little sheet of crepe paper, and the cats absolutely love it. See if I see Mr. Bruno anywhere. He was literally just right here. Bruno's a stalker, oddly enough. He's a tiger in a serval's body. I've never seen one of our kind of medium cats. The bobcats are big stalkers, but I should just say the servals. I've never seen them stalk like Bruno does, and he was behind me stalking for a moment, but maybe he circled back inside. Weather is, mild-ish today. We had a pretty cold start, unfortunately, below zero, but temps are going to be climbing into the mid-20s by the end of the day, so I'm certainly looking forward to that. Cats like Sky and Selene, they say, hey, we don't really mind it. We're ready to frolic in the kind of cold weather no matter what. So I see one of my crepe paper rolls. There's also kind of a unique piece of enrichment, a jello, a catnip jello cube that maybe has even froze a little bit. Hey, Faith Warner, thanks for joining us. Belinda Dissinger is here. Kendra Ditto, good afternoon to you as well. Let's see who else. Susan Young, hope all is well, from sunny but cold Southern California. I'll swap with your version of cold from Minnesota's version of cold, Susan, any day. Those are rescued bobcats, Sky and Selene. Sky and Selene have a little bit of a different kind of rescue story, and one that still deserves to have awareness raised around it. And that Sky and Selene were unfortunately picked up by hikers in Arizona. People were hiking, saw Sky and Selene on a hiking trail, figured that they were cute, figured that it'd be fun to take them into their home. And then in reality, most of the times, Sky and Selene's mother was probably just right around the corner, most likely hunting for them. And unfortunately, these cats were taken out of the wild, had since lived in a home environment, which means that they had imprinted on humans. And once these cats have imprinted on humans, it really makes them unsuitable candidates to live in the wild. And so for Sky and Selene, fortunately, they were surrendered to a wildlife rehab center in the Southwest, and they were able to contact us here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, knowing that we'd be able to provide them a safe and compassionate home. Yeah, do you see a caretaker coming through here? Provide them a safe and compassionate home. Obviously, we would wish for these girls to live a wild life, but given the circumstances and kind of the selfishness of those individuals who pluck them from the wild, it's always good to remind one another of kind of what is an appropriate way of helping a distressed animal. And actually the HSUS, the Humane Society US, has some great articles that you'd be able to reference, especially as we're kind of moving into springtime. where people might be coming across, what may look like a stranded or some type of animal in jeopardy, but it's always good to educate ourselves. Look at this, the big leap from Miss Sky there. She has another one of her jello, catnip jello on the levels of her skywalk here. You can see her sister Sky below here, and I see Bruno romping around, so we'll be able to go and walk over there in just a moment. It's always so cool seeing the vertical space in our bobcat habitats, and just how high these cats like climbing and get to climb here. Ooh, cold fingers. Looking at a few comments here. Let's see. Chizzy is asking. I see a few people have answered too, but I'll help answer Chizzy's question. Chizzy asking, I've been following you guys for a couple of years or so. I have a question. Do you put enrichment inside of their bedrooms? You betcha we do. That's definitely something that caretakers are including when they're cleaning the indoor bedrooms, just like when they're cleaning an outdoor habitat, is taking that opportunity when a cat is shifted out of a space to place enrichment in there for them. And I'm sure you're familiar with things like our TV enrichment that many of the cats have. But then again, it's also going to be a lot of the types of enrichment that you see outside. Little catnip cubes like they've made here for the sisters, pieces of cardboard. Actually, the cray paper hangs from their ceiling, and Sky and Selene have had a big blast with kind of those hanging cray paper strands. Well, somebody's getting stalked here. I think Selene's in her little hutch, and that's her sister behind her. You can see just how attuned the sisters are to their surroundings. They hear the crunch and crackle of Jackie and her intern team coming around the bend and say, hey, is it food time? Not just yet, pretty gal. You had your habitat clean, and I'm sure you're going to get some food rather shortly. And it also gives you some perspective as to how much I'm considered quote-unquote chopped liver to a cat like Selene. She says, I like those people that feed me all that delicious food and place all this fun enrichment for me to play with. Alright, let's see what Big Bruno's up to. It's Friday. Hope everyone has some fun plans for their weekend. Relaxing, doing whatever. Maybe you're working over the weekend. Hey, Mr. Big Bruno. That's a pretty good spot for a handsome fella like you. There we are. He says, I get a little sunshine. And I think that there was one of those catnip jello cubes on top of that little cave there. So Bruno must have already claimed a catnip cube, mister. Look at you, Mr. Bruno, doing good. And as you might see, Mr. Bruno is one of our tripod residents, Tripawed. Bruno's story obviously garnered lots of media attention. Bruno was found wandering a suburb outside of Boston, Massachusetts, a little over a year ago, last January. Unfortunately, he had sustained some injuries during his time outside in Boston, and it led to his his back right leg having to be amputated. And coordinating with the Massachusetts SPCA, we were able to pick up Bruno once he had recovered from his amputation surgery and get him back to the sanctuary so he can get a jump start on enjoying his compassionate life here at TWS. But great to see just how mobile he is. He's hopping up on the platforms. He's hopping, nice and safely on the snow. Caretakers are also kind of spreading a little bit of kind of bedding and some dirt in the more slippier places because we don't want Bruno to hurt himself. Oh, is that one of those catnip cubes, Mr. Bruno? Seeing a lot of compliments on how handsome Bruno is. Hola, Maria from Portugal. What a beautiful country. Hey, Missy Cole. Bruno the Beautiful, says Tina V. He certainly is a handsome boy. Hey, Karen, saying, thank you for answering me, and thank you to everyone who told me anytime and any amount is cool. You're asking, may I donate in a week when I have something to donate? And the answer to that is yes, Karen. We're always, very thankful for people giving a gift, and there's so many ways to give too. You can see that some people have given stars right here on this Facebook post. It's a Facebook feature where 1 star equals 1 cent. Obviously, I have a donate button active. Visiting our website is another great way to give. So hey, thank you everyone for helping Karen out with her question, and thank you for considering a gift to the cats. Bruno, let me tell you, it is good to spend some time with you. I hope everyone's enjoying themselves as much as I am. We do know that Bruno lives with the lovely Fiona. Fiona is another African serval who was estranged. She was found wandering somewhere in the southwest Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. And kind of just a lot of the same things that we see very frequently here, and now that I'm sure many of you are noticing, these lost and wandering wildcats after they've been abandoned by owners who are now realizing that purchasing one of these wildcats was ultimately a bad decision, and they weren't suitable for their home environment. And of course, it's cats like Bruno and Fiona and many of the other cats here at TWS that have been found wandering and estranged. They're the ones who are paying the price. They're the ones, Bruno, for example, wandering around in the winter in Massachusetts, and it's suspected that he was hit by a vehicle, which is what created that injury for his leg to be amputated. So we're happy that we have the big cat crisis, more under control with the passing of the Big Cat Public Safety Act. But you've heard Tammy talk about this. We've made some videos on it, and wanting to get some momentum on passing laws that govern the ownership of more kind of medium-sized cats, like the bobcats and servals. Ooh, I got cold fingers. Bruno. Looks like service is holding out here too. I'm gonna see if I can get another angle at Bruno. I'm gonna walk down this hallway because Benson also had some enrichment placed for him. Mr. Bobcat Benson, who lives with Bobcat Claud. Look at Bruno sneaking under his platforms. Ooh, I gotta catch up on some comments here. Love seeing that, Kathy. It's amazing how well cats can do even with a disability. Not much can stop them. Here to that. It's really something cool that Bruno's able to soldier on as he does, and obviously all the little adjustments that we make for a cat like Bruno. We took out some of the larger, taller platforms. Yeah, he's going for his cube here. We took out some of the larger and taller platforms, making sure that a cat like Bruno, who maybe has some mobility issues, getting his habitat shoveled first, and kind of prioritizing putting down some extra traction for him, like I mentioned. Well, we can't see you with your catnip cube when you go down there, Goofy. So it is great to see how a cat like Bruno can be so resilient, and also how our caretaking staff is making that easier for him too. But I was mentioning, we know that Fiona is a little bit more reserved than her cohort Bruno here. So unfortunately, I'm not sure that we'll be able to catch Fiona on the live itself. But good to know that she's doing things on her own terms. And you're darn tootin' if you think she's not going to come out here and enjoy herself after I'm gone, because she certainly will. It's kind of her just wanting to give herself some space between humans, and that's totally acceptable, Miss Fiona. What do we think, Big Bruno? Yeah, what do we think, mister? Looks like everybody's having a blast spending time with you today, Bruno. He's enjoying those scents that have been sprayed around his platform there. I think he's a little curious about what these catnip jello cubes are all about. I think it kind of broke apart and has fallen under, which is why we keep seeing him dip below. I want to walk over to see if Enzo and Athena are enjoying any pieces of their enrichment. I see a twitching bobcat tail over there, so it looks like they are. And while I'm walking over there, I'll welcome anyone else who's joined us today on our live post here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. We got rolling a little bit later this morning. I wanted the temps to get up, as well as I was actually helping Jackie get into these habitats and do some cleaning and play some enrichment. So glad for everyone's patience. Obviously we had Prada's spay surgery. Look at Miss Athena. Obviously we had Prada's spay surgery yesterday, and sounded like we have our morning meeting here at TWS every 9 a.m. every day, and they had nothing but kind of positive things to report. Prada was kind of a little shy and hesitant, but it sounds like this morning she was great about eating her AM meal, and it seems like her and Lacia are keeping it very low key, which is exactly what we want to see. Hey, pretty Athena. And Athena lives with Bobcat Enzo, and we're always kind of making sure that we're keeping an eye on the cats, especially the media team, when I'm kind of looking into a lens or looking on a screen. And Enzo is one of those cats that I need to keep an eye out for, because he is fast as a bolt of lightning and loves jumping up and giving a rather kind of loud introduction to himself. Jeannie Curry, I was asking, what's everybody doing this weekend? And you said you're retired. Just another Friday is just another day. Not bad. Sue Button says, good to hear about Prada. Oh, hey, Mr. Ben. I didn't even see you over there, pretty boy. Let's see. Oh, Hinyata is asking, man, yesterday. So how is the staff doing after yesterday? It's always hard losing one of the cats, and that would be Miss Simone, who, man, we only knew her for about 4 or 5 days, and unfortunately you kind of heard from Tammy yesterday and some of the updates that we were giving, and that her condition was declining yesterday, and that's where Tammy left to the AERC to see if there was some type of surgical option for us. They'd noticed that she had labored breathing, and getting down to the AERC, we discovered that she was in the onset of heart failure, and unfortunately there was nothing that we were going to be able to do for her. But kind of most importantly, and what Tammy said is, what we are going to be able to do for her is know that she's loved, and that we are with her. When she was, we had to say goodbye to her, and knowing that she is going to stand the test of time and remain in our hearts, just like all of our residents here at TWS, even though she was only with us for a few days. So I think of Rocket, and now I think of precious Miss Simone, who, man, they make an impact on us just in the short time that they spend, and happy that you guys were able to kind of share in their light as well. And thank you for wondering about the staff and how everyone's doing, Hinyata. That goes a long way. All right, I'm seeing some commotion over with Sky and Selene, but I need to take a look at this handsome man over here, Bobcat Benson. And just like Fiona was mentioning, Benson lives with Claud. Claud's a little bit reserved around humans, but he'll be scooting around here in no time when he hears that the big bad Judson is not talking in his outdoor habitat here. Nice to see you enjoying some sunshine, Mr. Ben. I love that Susan saying the serval satellite dish ears. They are really, really big. You know, and unfortunately their ears and kind of their natural adaptations play into why a cat like a serval does not make a good house pet. You can think of how keen a cat like Bruno's hearing is, those African serval ears. Well, imagining these home environments. Oh my gosh, we really did miss the fireworks there. We had a crepe paper roll that has pretty much entirely been unfurled. You can follow the line of crepe paper here. Be as can be. Look at these two goofies. Look at these two goofies. Yeah, I was saying, I think the service dropped a little bit, but that's a whole crepe paper roll that's been unwound or unfurled, and little do they know that there's another crepe paper roll right over here. I'm hoping that they find it here. But it looks like Selene, who's taking charge and giving that crepe paper roll all she's got, and her sister Sky, I don't know if she's getting ready to pounce on her or what. I think she is, just waiting for her sister not to be paying attention. Thanks for all the love on Simone in the comments, everyone. And I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Mejia Fuang saying, I remember Sky and Selene when they were little kittens when I was there, so small. They are, I still see these small little kittens that these cats arrived in, the small packages, I should say. Every time I look at them, I really don't see that kind of adult look that many other of the bobcats have. These are kind of our forever young rescues here, and especially with those energy levels too, knowing them as the Energizer Bobcats. And judging by the last name, Fong, I bet that's Cassie. Cassie's one of our former interns. Hope all is well, Cassie. Thanks for checking in on the live post. And unfortunately, Arya and Mondovi are not outside. They are up next for cleaning. Caretakers just went in to take their 30-minute lunch, and they'll be coming back, and they kind of did this half of Wildcat Pines all the way over to Miss Athena and Enzo, and then they'll be doing kind of the second half, starting with Arya Mondovi all the way over to the Bobcat Trio. The Bobcat Trio. But for now, we have the Bobcat Duo, Sky and Selene, having a blast. Maybe not too keen on their hard to keep up with the Energizer Bobcats. Maybe not too keen on their jello, their ice cube jello catnip concoction, but it is the crepe paper that's ruling the roost for these two. Yeah, there's another roll of crepe paper in there, sister. Yeah, you found it, didn't you? Ooh, yes, you did. And especially after, the news that we received yesterday on Simone, these are really the types of days that help me recharge, is seeing the cats enjoy themselves and knowing kind of all the good that we're still able to provide to our rescues here. Yes, that's my foot, pretty lady. And there's your pile of crepe paper. And another pile of crepe paper. We'll see what Mr. Bruno is doing. See what Mr. Bruno is doing. Ooh, slippery. Let's see. He says, you know what? I circle back inside to check in with Fiona and give her some love. And Sky and Selene, kind of looking like the two-headed bobcat here, posted up right next to their lockouts. Hey, Patty Ray, 500 stars. Thank you for that. Very, very much appreciated. 500 stars equaling $5. That's $5 going right to the cats. Always, always thankful for that. Here goes caretaker Michael. Let's see if we can get a wave out of him. No, yeah, we got a wave out of Michael. And Michael obviously is the zone lead for where the Ukraine lion cubs are, so he's going to have his hands full the next 7 to 10 days getting Prada all types of enrichment, making sure that they're changing her room out with clean straw, and just kind of alongside our veterinary team ensuring that she's going to be having a safe and healthy recovery. There's Mr. Bruno. Actually, let me make sure that's, yeah, that is Mr. Bruno. Ooh, and Claud. Okay. We're going to zoom in first before I go any closer. I see Benson on our left and his bobcat companion Claud on the right. Claud is also one of our tripod residents. You might be able to see him showing off just how mobile he is as well. And one thing that kind of plays, I can tell, Claud, you might be, he says, uh-oh, I hear that person talking out there. And I think I'll give Claud his space. I'm glad that he came down and we got a little glimpse of him. And it looks like Bruno's kind of ushering him inside as well. Tracy F saying, Claud, what a treat. It is a treat. I'm so happy for that. And Claud's a very special cat, and one who it really is a treat because he really prefers not to be in the limelight per se. And that's okay, Claud. He's a wild-born bobcat. Unfortunately, after he was caught and impaled on a fence, one of his rear legs had to be amputated, and then he was no longer a suitable candidate to live in the wild. So Claud, who was raised by his mother, taught to kind of avoid humans, definitely understandable that he's a little bit more tentative on his opinion of us. But nonetheless, Claud loves food time, and he loves his companion Benson. So it's great to see him benefit from those things. And of course, loves his hangout spots in his habitat. He has some very sneaky hangout spots under a few of his trees. And then when the willow in his habitat kind of really grows in midsummer, that kind of turns into a big hangout spot for Mr. Claud. So also cool to see that we're kind of taking that into account and knowing that Claud is a little bit more hesitant, and he's going to want to kind of hide out and have places where he can feel safe and secure, and we certainly make that possible, Mr. Claud. Tanya Toner asking, how's Thor Jr. doing? Thor Jr. is doing great. He lives right next to Winona, and he loves showing off. Admittedly, Winona's not too keen on Thor showing off to her. What he does is he takes his big ball, he has a big gray ball right now, and he will kind of run up along their shared wall against the habitat wall. So Thor loves doing that, or else he's up on his platform getting the lay of the land. He's great about taking advantage of wanting to get the company of Pandora, who's across a hallway from him. But Pandora really has, she says, my heart is taken, and Simon and Jeremy are holding it, Mr. Thor. Ooh, wait till pool season, Jeannie. That is very true. We know that Thor has really kind of made himself an iconic pool tiger here at the Wildcat Sanctuary after just how cool. And then the fact that he would get on top of his ball and fall asleep in that pool. It's just hilarious. Oh, Bruno, it's been wonderful spending time with you. And I'm glad that we got to spend some time with Sky and Selene as well. We got to see Mr. Claud and Benson, which I really enjoyed. A little bit of flash of Enzo and Athena as well. And I love it too, you know, not only do we have the skywalks, but we kind of have these little step systems too. Kaplunk, 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 kaplunk. And those step systems always are a favorite hangout spot for the girls. Truthfully, because they know that's right where the good afternoon, evening sun comes in. So it looks like Sky is going to remain, keep an ever watchful eye towards the prep room to where caretakers will be entering. Looks like Bruno has the same idea here. Hey, Martha E. Johnson saying, I love seeing my sponsor Bruno out and enjoying himself. Well, Martha, thank you for taking part in making that possible for a cat like Bruno. This sponsorship really does a huge number in terms of helping our rescues here. And it takes more than one sponsor to help a cat like Bruno. So thank you and the handful of people who have taken him under their wing. We are very thankful for our sponsors who are part of our sponsorship program. And it's so cool hearing everyone shout out their sponsors when they maybe see them on a live post, or maybe we post a photo of a cat. Great to see that kind of sense of pride everyone has, because that's, you know, exactly how you should feel. What's in there, Big Bruno? He says, I'm going in here and you're staying out there. If you say so, big fella. Well, I'll go walk around the corner here and we'll maybe get another shot of Sky and Selene. And there we go. There he is. Bruno's just really exploring today. I think he's noticed that we've had some warm days, which has created, oh, look at that, mister. That's created the snowpack to really become kind of crusty. And looks like he's maybe able to navigate some parts of his habitat where he normally doesn't. Bruno, I was going to go over and end with a shot of Sky and Selene, but it wouldn't be right if we left you when you're looking so majestic on top of your dog glue. Bruno in the man cave. You're right about that, Faith. Right about that. Well, nonetheless, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Thanks for tuning in yesterday for Miss Prada's exam. We'll definitely keep you updated as she moves into her 7 to 10 day recovery period. And also thank you guys for lending us your condolences when we had to announce that Miss Simone had left us here. And always so much appreciate that support, everyone. Can never ever overstate that, Mr. Bruno, is just how thoughtful everyone can be in our times of need. So thank you for that. Thank you for tuning in today. And most importantly, thank you for all the support that you lend our rescues here. And just as someone pointed out, I love seeing Bruno running around and enjoying himself. Well, you guys are the ones to thank for that too. Your support helps make all of this possible. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great Friday and a great Saturday and a great Sunday. We will see you back here on Monday here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Cold fingers, Bruno.